I'm going to keep my talk fairly brief. Thank you, first of all, to the Wine Grape Commission for putting this together, and to all the other folks who've spoken thus far and who are slated to speak after me today. I feel a little not underprepared, but just that I might disappoint some of you with not having quite the volume of scientific information as the last couple of speakers to offer. However, what I am here to speak to you about today is in fact about science and the way in which we use water in the vineyards. You heard from Noel Kramer's first today, or first among the speakers anyway, regarding the ongoing situation surrounding the Clear Lake hitch, the amount of attention that's being given to that for good cause with respect to the species dwindling numbers, and the great deal of attention that's being put on water use around Lake County as it may be impacting stream flows, Clear Lake hitch spawning habitat, etc. The group that I am here to represent is a small but growing group of wine grape and pear growers around Lake County who are committing to a set of voluntary actions and participating, broadly speaking anyway, in a group that is taking shape that we're calling the Lake County Land Stewards. I'm happy to talk about that at length, either at the end of this talk or one-on-one with folks if they have questions. But essentially, the voluntary actions that we're committing to include information gathering, information sharing, and expert analysis of that information. The information gathering component consists of stream monitoring equipment, which we have begun to or will be beginning to install in the coming days around Lake County on the 5 major streams that feed into Clear Lake that are at least of significance for Clear Lake hitch purposes. So stream monitoring, well monitoring. We have instruments installed in certain wells around various farm properties in Lake County, and more of that going in again in the days and weeks to come. And we have on an ongoing effort to develop and streamline a voluntary reporting process for growers of all sizes and types who use irrigation, overhead irrigation for frost protection. The information sharing component of this effort involves delivering to the State Water Resources Control Board and other state regulators as necessary information regarding these farm practices. But the effort underway would also incorporate the input of a third-party analyst, an expert hydrologist and or hydrological engineering firm, which will evaluate the pooled data, whether it's from those different instruments I was talking about or the voluntary frost protection reporting program I just mentioned a second ago. But all these data points will be essentially incorporated into a modeling of the water use by agriculture in Lake County as it pertains to frost protection. Involved in all of these voluntary actions are costs. The tech costs money to buy and install and maintain. The expert third-party analysis, of course, is a service of some substantial cost requirement. And of course, the human capital, overhead, and general management expenses involved in gathering, recording, and submitting data of the type that I'm talking about, all are considerations that we, the group, are talking about, and we, the group, in concert with the Lake County Farm Bureau and the State Water Resources Control Board, we are having an ongoing conversation about where the money will come from to cover those costs. I'm going to skip through a little bit of what I had planned to talk about here, just because I want to make sure I leave time for questions, and I realize we're all hoping to be off of this thing in 21 minutes. But I'd like to make sure I end with notes regarding what those of you listening in can do if you are interested in participating in the actions that I've up to this point discussed. First of all, if you are willing or able, contact me directly. My information has been shared throughout or through the Wine Grape Commission for this talk. Contact me directly. I'd love to talk to you more. I'd love to fill you in on some more of what we're working on and talk to you about the possibility of getting involved. Second thing, log your frost data. It specifically where you're frost protecting, how much water you're applying, when you're turning on, when you're turning off, and ideally the temperatures at the times that you're turning on and off, along with if you go so deep into it, things like dew point are also we feel relevant data points to be tracking with respect to our frost protection decisions. Lastly, I believe there's an effort underway to gather folks together for volunteer efforts around the Clear Lake hitch, specifically around monitoring for the hitch in streams. Obviously, more data about when they are sighted, and literally just sort of a day-by-day count of if spawning is occurring is a very useful bit of information that always needs additional eyeballs. And then there are groups working to actually rescue stranded Clear Lake hitch. And as many of you know, listening to this call or presenting, there are a few different places around Lake County where Clear Lake hitch spawning and the stream flows wind up crossing some barriers and crossing some areas where flows are minimized due to the amount of debris and other things in the stream. And in those cases, when hitch are stranded or wind up in a disconnected portion of the drainage that leads into those tributaries, they are netted, put in buckets with aerators, and brought to the state park for release. In fact, I'm aware of some rescues of this exact type that occurred this morning. I wasn't part of them, but I was there just after they were finished and got a readout on that. Happy to fill folks in if they're interested. But that kind of touches on the various things that my group, the Lake County Land Stewards, are working on. We are certainly open to input and contributions from willing parties.
Okay, thank you so much.